perfect bouquet of chrysanthemums. That's a hard word.
It's probably the end of these flowers.
Oh.
The end is near.
The end, it's the beginning. They're fall
Look at this woman.
flowers.
Look at her. She's dressed up like it's winter
I
time.
have 2 coats. I should have brought gloves. My husband has bare toes hanging out.
Yes, so now is the hour of our discontent. It's September the 1st, 2017, and I'm dressed like, I don't know, like a voyageur who's making his way across the wasteland of Canada. And look at my toes.
Woo-hoo, crazy man toes.
Yes,
Tell them how
summer
cold it
is over.
Tell-
Winter is coming. Winter is coming.
Tell them what the temperature is.
Yeah, what is the temperature?
8 degrees.
8 degrees.
Yeah.
8 degrees in the sun.
Yeah.
Not in the shade, but in the sun.
Oh, I should have brought my other hat too. I can't see.
Oh, and would you like some cheese this morning?
I eat a lot of cheese because I need it to go with the other.
So yesterday was our wedding anniversary, and among the celebratory conversation was
the subject of divorce and suicide. One of us doing one and one doing the other. So Alan was trying to get our psychotherapist to guess which one was thinking of which subject, and I was trying to say to her, just do the opposite just to throw him off, but she wasn't getting my signals. And she guessed correctly, but I won't tell you what that is. You'll have to figure it out.
And then we discussed this morning that there was a third option. Murder. Murder. Why get divorced if you can just murder somebody? It's a lot less, expense and paperwork.
And would he get the death benefit?
Yes, would I get the death benefit, or would Joe get my death benefit? Does the murdering party have access to the funds from the life insurance?
Inquiring minds want to know.
Anybody out there know? Anybody out there a lawyer? I figure that unless there's a clause stating the payment shall not be made to the person causing the death, I think everything should be fine.
I agree. Let's get on with it.
So there was a movie where the two spouses were attempting to kill each other. I forget who was in that. Was that the one with Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie?
Yes, Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Mr. and Mrs. Ralston. The real life version. And I might video the murder so I could make some extra revenue from YouTube.
If I murder you, will you video that too?
Well, we could set up a camera in a room with a bunch of weapons and play the Star Trek Battle, the original series Star Trek Battle theme music. And I think that's the music. And then
That's Star Trek?
Yeah, I think that's Star Trek. And then we could have all kinds of weird Star Trek weapons around.
Was that the ship making that noise?
No, that's like the music in the background.
The other noise you made.
No, the part of that song has that. I think. I'm gonna have to check it out online.
Is it with the pheromone? The theremin? The pheromone?
I don't know.
What's the thing called?
Theremin?
Pheromone. Star Trek fan, but I'm not up on the name of the thing.
She is a Starfleet admiral, but she doesn't know what the music is.
Probably shouldn't do that. Give you wrinkles. You know what you get those wrinkles from, though? Do you know what you get them from?
What ones?
These are
Kissing?
No. Guess again.
Kissing? Sucking on a lollipop?
No. Guess again.
I don't know. Not kissing, not sucking on lollipops.
Close. You're getting close.
Looking annoyed all day.
No.
I don't understand. Not sucking, not kissing.
No. Whistling.
Whistling in the dark.
Yeah. Whistling in the dark.
Some birth control techniques are whistling in the dark, and I guess anybody who has those marks on their lips have been whistling in the dark. Well, maybe not in the dark, but
oh my God. We both woke up with a headache this morning.
you know what's really interesting?
What?
What I just noticed is, so I'm bundled up a little bit against the elements, and
Except your feet.
my feet are not cold. And I kind of did this as kind of a, I don't know, not an experiment. I was sort of doing it sarcastically because I have seen other people walking around bundled up with sandals on, and I thought, I'll do this to make fun of that. But my feet aren't cold because I guess I'm moving. Maybe that's why, because I'm walking. But I'm surprised. Now I understand maybe why other people do this. I should stop mocking them. I should stop taunting them. I should stop speaking behind their back. Hey, look at that weirdo over there walking around with sandals and a parka. I guess I should stop doing that, because now I understand. It's the Jedi Master moment. And speaking of Jedi Masters,
That's your gender.
have I not told you that is my gender? When the province of Ontario finally recognizes alternative genders, I will change my gender on the paperwork to read Jedi Master. That's what I will do.
Hold on.
You will be gender Jojo Bean.
No.
Yes.
That's the whole, when I asked your gender, I put gender Jojo Bean or just Jojo Bean?
Well, if you put gender Jojo Bean, gender will be part of your gender.
That's what you said.
That could
Your
be.
gender will be gender Jojo Bean. That's what you said.
Oh. Well, you could do that. That could be a gender. What is your gender? My gender is gender.
So I'll be Bean in my gender.
You could be gender Bean or Jojo Bean.
Hey, wait a minute. Kevin, see what just fell out of your head? Because, you know why?
No.
You have a screw loose. Because the nut fell off.
A nut fell on my bar.
Ready? Nut what?
A nut fell out of my bar
No, your brain, silly.
because I'm a nut bar.
Yeah. You are a bit of that. A bit of that. Maybe they were getting rid of a nasty teenager.
What?
Maybe they were getting rid of a nasty teenager.
Oh, this is where the big event happened?
Yeah.
Here?
Uh-huh.
Okay, so
car
this will be
there.
fun. I'll tell you the story as I remember it that Joe told me, and then Joe can tell you what really happened. So maybe a couple of weeks ago, Joe was out for a morning walk, and she came into this area, and she saw, did you see a marked police car? or
Yeah.
no marked.
Yeah, marked.
One marked police car, and then some other car that was parked that was unmarked.
Yeah.
And she had some kind of a conversation with the guy in the unmarked car.
Marked car.
Oh, the marked car. Anyway,
Policeman was parked there.
yeah.
Yeah.
But there was another one that was unmarked.
Yeah. Well, it was just an ordinary car. I don't think it was an unmarked police car. Anyway, you continue the story.
So Joe had the impression that there was some like takedown in progress or some
Someone
situation.
Exiting. Yeah.
Somebody was being taken into custody. There was something going on. Surveillance and she tried. Didn't you try to talk to somebody or something?
Oh my God! You just tell your
I
story.
totally
and then
don't know what happened. All I know is JoJo came home all excited that there was some police activity taking place and somebody was being taken into custody and she just walked through the SWAT team or something. Go ahead, you tell the story.
So, I went for my walk, and as I was walking on the main drag before I hit the residential part, this police car whizzes by me, and I'm thinking, they don't even obey the speed limit. And then he turns down the street I'm going to walk on, and he parks opposite a house. Further away from the house is another car with a man in it, kind of straggly, long hair. And I go past the cop SUV, and he motions me over and looks down his window and he says, "Oh, you're just out for a walk. Carry on," he says. And then he says, "Where'd you get that hat?" And I thought my hat was the one we got in Las Vegas that said Paris, or that Andrea gave me or something. And I said, Las Vegas. And I continued up the street and took my hat off and it said New York City. So I went back to the cop car and I said, "Just so you know, I'm not lying to you. I thought I had the Paris hat on, and I don't." And he said, "I just was asking because my wife just got one, turquoise one, when we were in New York City." So I really wanted to say, what the fuck's going on? But I didn't want to seem nosy, so I continued. But in my head, it was, he was there to make sure a fight didn't break out in whoever was leaving this house. And the other person was waiting for the person. So maybe it was a husband leaving, a wife leaving, a teenager leaving. You know how the cops come sometimes to monitor shit. Anyway, I did not tell Alan as soon as I got home because I knew Alan would jump in the car and come down and try and find out what was going on. So I purposely did not tell him till our walk the next day when we walked past. I said, "What do you think was going on?" He said, "I don't know." And I said, "Well, here's what I thought." He said, "Yeah, you're crazy. Your imagination is just crazy," or something. Anyway, we'll never know. It's cold.
Just a few days ago, she was complaining how hot it was.
Yeah, we had to go earlier because it was already 20 degrees. The sweat was pouring down my brow into the paper towel that I kept tucked under my hat.
No paper towel today.
No, but it might have kept me a little warmer. Oh, jeez. Over to you.
Trying to keep the camera out of the sun. In the shade.
Wonder there's not icicles forming off it.
Could be icicles.
There's icicles in your beard. Oh my God. This is the windy part of our walk. See my...
I used to do this walk at 20 degrees below zero.
Really?
Yeah.
Before?
I would go for my morning walk every day
Yeah. Gotta get you doing that again.
before I lost all interest in being alive. Actually, I didn't say I wanted to commit suicide. I just said that I'd rather be dead than deal with certain things.
Like divorce.
Yeah.
So you see,
You asked me what
I'm
would be
a
the
captive then.
well, you asked me what would be the simplest, easiest way to get us to be in separate lives or whatever, and I thought, well, the easiest way for me to get us in separate lives would be to be dead.
See, when we were in Williamsburg, dropping off the car, Alan was, he saw these two little houses side by side, and exactly the same. He said, I found the perfect houses for us. We can each have one. It's identical.
See this here?
We can make a little tunnel.
Anyway, yes, 2 little houses.
And why did you think that was good?
2 little, because they're identical.
Yeah.
They were side by side.
And we were going to make a tunnel underneath the little one, tube 4.
Richard Parker, so you could pick whichever house you wanted to be in.
Yeah.
And it's a small community. It's very, very quiet. The only thing wrong with these 2 houses is,
They're not for sale.
well, that.
Oh.
The other thing was,
They're on a really busy highway.
they're essentially on a highway. The highway called
31.
Highway 31 goes right through the town, and that's where these houses are located.
But they can only go 50 miles per hour there.
Well, yeah, right.
I don't even know if there was a front yard.
Because
Wasn't it right on the sidewalk?
because this community is so large, they have a police officer. Not. OPP probably drive through once in a while.
Yeah. I don't even think there's a grocery store.
You know, there's the restaurant is kind of a grocery store, isn't it?
Oh, maybe.
No, maybe not actually.
Well, they have meat and stuff, didn't they have meat?
Yeah, I think it's kind of like a deli counter,
Oh.
prepared, sandwiches and stuff. But
We could have every meal prepared.
they have a gas station, but they don't have premium fuel.
Which my car needs.
It's only the regular rot gut fuel.
Alan could get into the city in the electric car, but he probably couldn't go anywhere. So it's not very sensible, but it was cute because they were identical. And then his mess could be on his side, and I could have no mess on my side. We have to make the little tube big enough for the cat to turn around in, because sometimes I'll have his entry closed. He's always at my place.
I'm painting right now. You can't come in.
Yeah.
Well, you could just have the end where he
What
comes
if we
out.
had it both closed and we didn't know, and the cat
He was in the middle
and he died. He just kind of rotted away there.
in the stinky tube.
We were both picturing that. That's why it was quiet. That's cool. Speaking of cats, we have a collar for him and a leash. Sometimes to take him out on that. However, Alan was coming in the sliding door the other night, and the cat streaked out in the dark for the forest. Alan ran after him, but he could not find him. He rushed back in, got the treats. I don't know if you told me what happened then.
Oh, I said I'm in trouble now.
Yeah. And because we have protocol we're supposed to follow with the cat, you put him away in a room where he can't get out. Then you open the door, you do your thing, you come back in, then you let the cat out. However, only one of us follows that protocol that we have both agreed to. And
The cat actually has probably played me. He sat by the door in a rather docile state so often that when I saw him sitting there as I was coming back, what happened was I realized that it was almost sunset. I realized that the lights were on in the garage, like not the garage light that comes on when the door opens and closes, but the lights that you flick on with the switch, and I had to use those to go do something. And I realized that the lights were still on, so I went out to turn them off, and the cat, just before I went to turn them off, the cat was displaying this I want you to chase me game. And I had chased him around a little bit in the living room, and then once I was aware the lights were on in the garage, I went out to take care of that. And he was sitting not in the kitchen, so I was easily out the sliding door, and gone. Turned off lights, came back, and he was sitting there looking at me like he often does. So I open the door, I step inside, and just before I close the door, he just bolts like Usain Bolt, you know, that runner. And I went out after him, and I realized in retrospect that was the worst thing to do, because he wanted me to chase him. So I chased him, and he ran all the way into the forest. And then I turned around and came back to get treats and a flashlight, and I said, I am in trouble now, because what I did was, you know, forbidden. And then Jo, I don't know, she kind of flipped out and got treats and went out looking for him with a flashlight. I got dressed so I could walk around the forest, put boots on, long pants on, coat, stuff like that. And then I got my flashlight and I went out. I walked all around the forest and saw no eyeballs looking back at me when I'm shining my light around. And then
I came in disgusted.
Jo went and got the cat catching cage.
Yep. And I gave it to Alan. I said, put some food in that, put it out. Now we'll catch some kind of wild animal. And I said, that's how we caught the first Richard Parker. Anyway, then I was so mad, packing up all his toys and almost all evidence of him, because I was sure he was dead, gone, never to be seen again. And then Alan did the following.
So I come in and I said something like, well, if he likes it so much out there, he can stay out there, because I couldn't find him anywhere. And then I thought, all right, what can we do? Jo wants to put the cat cage. So I put the cat, well, I don't know, it can catch lots of things, but it'll catch, you know, raccoons, cats, skunks, whatever. So the special cat catching cage, I put the food bowl in it and set the trap and moved it to the back near the forest. And then I came back in, I thought, you know, this is probably stupid. He's so enamored with running around out in the forest that he's not going to smell this food. And there's so many places he could go that will be farther away from the food. He'll never smell it. We'll probably catch a squirrel or a skunk or a raccoon, or somebody else's cat maybe, but not ours. So I thought, well, what else could I do? Because I needed to be, you know, go to the best effort length of, you know, efforts to catch him or find him. So I looked around and I thought, oh, the can opener is something he always will respond to. You turn the can opener on and he's over there in a moment. So I thought, if I could get the can opener, electric one, mounted on the bottom of the cupboard outside and activate it in the woods, then maybe he would come to me. So I set about removing the electric can opener. These things have bolts that are, they're like
12 feet long.
They're like at
8
least,
inches
I
long.
think they're like, I don't know, 10 centimeters easy long. 4 of them holding this thing. I just couldn't understand that. And they don't need to be that long. But anyway, so it took me a long time to get this undone. And one of the tops of the bolts was semi-stripped, so it was a real bitch.
God.
So I get it all undone, which takes me a considerable amount of time, and I'm really not happy. I get it all finished. I have figured out where my extension cord will plug in. I got this really long extension cord. I pick it up, I go to the sliding door, I look down, and there's the cat. You're waiting to come back in.
Because he follows us like a dog everywhere, and I guess he finished playing and he thought, where are my people? Why aren't they still playing? And then there he was. So then I did not want a divorce at that point. But I was really mad. I wanted to break something. I was so mad. I couldn't even speak to Alan. Because we had the first R2P2 escaped into the woods once for 17 days.
Who let that guy out?
3 pounds.
Who let him out?
Well, he got out and then
Who?
kept going. I didn't let him out.
Who let him out?
Who
Who
let
was the
dogs
person
out?
who let the cat out?
It was my fault.
There you go.
I didn't say.
You heard it. You
"Go,
heard it.
Richard
It was her fault.
Oh, so you let this R2P2
No, well, it was
out?
my fault. I opened the door. He got
but
out.
you did not let him out. That implies purpose or malice aforethought.
Malice aforethought.
That's a good one.
That's a good name for somebody. What's the
cat.
kid's name? Malice aforethought. You know.
Raise him to be a sociopath. Donald Trump, aka
Malice aforethought.
Anyway, having just spent $3,500 on R2P2, which is Richard Parker II, and have him gone 2 months later, made me really, really mad.
Especially since recently we've encountered, well, not undue hardship yet, but we've discovered that the money we spent on R2P2 really has started to what do you call that? It's really evident that we're, you know, having to manage finances differently than we would if we hadn't spent all that money on that cat, which for a short time was running around the woods and we didn't know where it was, didn't know if it was coming back, and yeah, so life got interesting. Like, I thought I was living in interesting times, living with Donald Trump being the president of the United States.
I
But
thought he was going to say being married to my wife.
then being married to this woman who's now disrobing while walking.
It's not going to be a topless day, though.
Oh, they'd probably firm up though.
The ends of them, maybe, not the whole boob. My age, they don't firm up anymore. Up is not an option.
Speaking of boobs and naked and all that, I was watching what's it called? The Mist on Netflix.
Yeah,
You know the actor that played in 6 Feet Under, the mom?
yeah.
She did a naked scene in The Mist.
How old is she?
She's kind of old.
How did
And
they
she
look?
did a naked nipply scene too.
How did they look?
Old.
Saggy?
I didn't feel any urge to stop watching or, you know,
My
No.
eyes are burning. No, not that.
no, but you know,
She didn't get a hard on
I
either.
didn't feel a sudden urge to masturbate or anything. Not that that ever happens, ever.
No,
No.
men don't do that.
Yeah, that's a woman thing, right? Only women?
Only.
To avoid hysteria.
Yes.
They self-medicate
Yep.
to avoid being hysterical.
Yeah.
I read about that in a book. Or I saw it on a movie or
Yeah,
something. Must be
movie.
true. Must be true. Okay. Oh, here's our favorite argument of the day.
Oh God, yes.
Which side of the road should we be on to cross city traffic?
I say the other side, because you only have to read the one guy turning. He says the opposite side, because you have to worry about two guys turning. Is really fucked.
So what I should put this video, I'll just post the entire thing.
Yeah.
And this will be the Canadian version of the Bickersons. What do you think?
Yeah.
I don't know if it's wide enough for both of us to be in the shot. Let's try it this way.
Are you calling me wide?
Uh,
No. Would you like some
I don't think I
chocolate
said
with
that. So we're at like the 29-minute mark.
Tell them about would you like chocolate with that?
Uh, Yeah, for those of you who are still watching, who have a spouse, I shared this with somebody else recently. I forget who it was. So there's what to do. You know those moments when your wife, let's say not even wife, your significant other, because you could be in one of those genderless unions.
Yeah. Could be like a Jedi Master.
Yeah, it could be like two entities
Yeah.
that are unionized.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not exactly married, but unionized or something.
Yeah.
Like that. What are they going to do with that? Now they have. What do they call it? What's the marriage that's? They just call it same-sex marriage. Well, isn't
Same
some
gender.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
not same
different
gender.
gender.
It's not
Different
same gender or different gender. So that's a whole issue, right? Isn't it? Anyway, assuming you have two entities in a relationship of a very long-term and fixed and permanent status type, and one of the entities says to the other, "Do I look fat in this, or what do you think of this color on me?" Or what do you think of this wardrobe and outfit I've decided to wear? How do I look? You have just been asked a question that you think requires an authentic response. If you're me, you really want to give the authentic response. Because if she looks fat and I say, you look fat in that, she's going to get pissed off. So we come up with this special way to answer that. I just say, would you like chocolate with that? And that tells Joe that, I don't know, what does that tell you? What does, would you like chocolate with that?
You love me and you're not going to put your foot in your mouth there with that question.
It allows me not to answer it.
Yeah. And I have to figure it out for myself.
Yeah. So, like,
So you get out of jail free card.
like, it's like that comedian said, if she asks the question, she already knows she looks fat. So, doesn't she? Or I don't know, something like that. Anyway, what you say is, would you like chocolate with that? And
You don't even have to bring the chocolate.
Yeah,
Although that
you
would
just-
be nice.
you just say it, you don't give it.
Ready?
Okay, we're crossing. We're crossing. Successful crossing. Imminently successful crossing.
He did not kill me off at the crossing.
Ah,
Wow. Do you think they're tired of us yet? Do you think anyone held in to the bitter
well,
end?
it'd be interesting to
I
see.
want to know if Graham is still watching.
Hey, Mr. Hay, if you're still watching, hit like, hit subscribe if you haven't already hit subscribe.
No, he has to send a message that said, I watched to the end.
Yeah, we should put something really, really outrageous at the very end.
Boobies.
For anybody who, oh yeah,
But I'm not. That's for another time. But it's not 8 degrees.
we should be something rewarding. Oh, I know. Here, Joe, here, hold this camera. Hold this camera. Okay.
Uh-oh. Ready, people. I don't know if that's rewarding, but here you go.
Signing off.
Sayonara.
Click like and click subscribe if you haven't already clicked
Blue Jays have
subscribe.
eaten all the peanuts.